Hello and welcome to video 6 on the Entrepreneur's Accounting Toolbox. Today I want to really focus on a very important topic, and that is cash flow management. So many businesses out there succeed and many fail, and I think the number one problem when they do fail is cash flow management. You'll hear a lot of times about 80% of businesses that start end up closing down, and very scary stats. But the reality is a lot of this just purely comes down to cash flow. And so what do we mean by cash flow management? Well, we've talked a little bit about bookkeeping in the past, and that's record keeping. And a lot of that has to do about the past and the history behind the company. But what's really important is how do you manage your cash flow? Because what happens in accounting is your cash flow can enable in many different functions. So what that means is, for example, when are you collecting your receivables? When do you pay your payables? What kind of loans do you have? A lot of this information is not relayed in a set of financial statements on a regular basis, and that's where it comes down to where it comes down to cash flow management. So the first thing that applies in cash flow management is cash flow forecasting. This is very similar to a budget. It's about pre-planning and what the budget will be going forward, but we take this one step further. And where that goes, it's not just about profit and loss. We're also talking about your cash management. So what you need to do is build in a model that will talk about when you're collecting your receivables, when you're paying your payables, do you have any loan payments to make, or any of those extra functions. Because the most important thing is if you run out of cash, you're going to be in trouble in terms of your business. Now, you've heard me talk about receivables and payables. So what's really important on that end from a cash flow standpoint is how are you going to actually manage your money? What is a really good strategy for many people if you're in manufacturing or some of the trades, if you're able to get 30-day payment terms, but actually have your receivables come in 15 days, you can actually be ahead of the game. Or many people you'll hear about the fact of taking up a deposit up front. Again, this is about the cash flow management. Now what's really important is if you are doing any of these things in your business, you don't want to take the deposit and then use it to pay a different payable, because that's going to get you into more trouble. So you got to make sure you're also managing a system where the money you're collecting is being used for those resources specifically. At the end of the day, in order to make sure your business is successful, cash flow management is one of the most important tools. As always, it's Irfan Ali with RMI LLP. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe for many more videos. Thank you.